Now, six years ago, our next guest, Ava, thought she had met the man of her dreams when she sparked up an online friendship with a stranger, calling himself David.
Yeah, but soon David started asking for money and Ava's dream turned into a nightmare. She ultimately transferred tens of thousands of pounds before realising David wasn't, in fact, David, the American engineer he claimed to be, but a con artist from Nigeria.
Ava's here now to share her story. Morning,
Hi, Ava.
Ava.
Thanks for
coming.
coming.
See you. And first of all, thank you for doing this, because so many people get caught out by this. Your story really does help. So let's start from the very beginning. You got a message on social media. What did that message say?
Hello, I like the look of your profile. Can we be friends?
And you're quite a private person, so most of your Facebook is just you and your mates,
Yeah.
right? So was it a friend of a friend, or was it just someone?
No, just a complete stranger.
Yeah.
And are you accepting a friend request from that person?
I did.
OK. And what happened from there? When did it turn romantic?
Oh, 6 months later.
6 months down the line.
Yeah, and it was intense. It was 2 or 3 times a day, phone call every night.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was
And
intense.
did he sound nice? What did he sound like?
Well, not like I thought he should.
In what did you mean? In what
Well,
way? His accent?
yeah, his accent wasn't what I thought it would be, but I didn't really take much notice of that.
OK. And where were you at mentally at that time? Was you feeling quite lonely?
Yes,
where
I
was
think
you at?
so. I've been divorced a while, but I was on my own, indoors on my own.
Yeah.
And just thought, oh, well, you know. And I had never honestly heard of scammers.
Yeah.
That's the thing as well. I think people probably look at this from a detached point of view and go, well, how did you fall for that? But like you said, if you're on your own and you're in the house on your own and you're getting messaged 2 or 3 times a day, it's always going to be in your head,
It's very flattering, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And he's saying flattering things. So at the time, were you telling anyone else about the messages, or were you just keeping it to yourself?
No, I did show my daughter-in-law when we were on holiday his picture, and she said, oh, take no notice of that scam.
And what, she actually said that to you? And what did you think?
She's a bank manager, so she's seen a few.
Yeah.
I didn't think anything of it. I thought, no, he's not.
Did you tell your son?
No.
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 So you kept this a complete secret to yourself. So at what point did he start asking for some money?
Quite soon. Quite soon. Well, I say it. Well, about a year, I should think.
And what did he need the money for? How much did he want?
Oh, he wanted lots. 1,000 to get out of... He said he worked on an oil rig and his tools were stuck at the airport and they wouldn't let them bring them home. They needed this money to get his tools back to America.
And by now, you've got this relationship, you're quite close with him. At what point did you think, you know what, I'm going to help him?
Straight away.
Straight away. And he said he was going to give you the money back? And obviously
Oh,
that
he
didn't...
promised that every day.
Really?
And then, I guess, 1 grand goes into a couple of grand here for something else.
Yes, and there's something else. Daughter broke her leg.
Yeah.
Was another one. Oh, there was amazing things he thought of, I think.
And are you ever saying to him, this is adding up a little bit now? Like...
Yes, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it then, when I said that.
As in, you didn't hear from him again?
Oh, no, still asking, but he didn't get any more then.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Oh, you poor thing.
And things came to a head when you were a bit poorly when you were in hospital, right? So this is how... Did your son have your phone or something?
Yes, I was rushed in by ambulance and my son took my phone from home.
Yeah.
And he's getting all these messages saying, you know, what you doing? Where's the money? And
so what did your son do then?
Called the police. He rang, I don't know which police station it was. I had a young man come to see me in hospital who said that was all he did, was scamming.
It's such a shame, because you was in a very vulnerable situation and he took advantage of you.
Yes.
So it definitely wasn't your fault. What did the police actually find?
They found out who the man was in the photo. He was a chiropractor in Illinois, Indiana.
So this guy had stolen his identity?
And apparently I heard afterwards from somewhere else that there'd been 20 years they'd been using him. He didn't even look like that anymore.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's bring in Nick. Nick, you know, you're a scam expert, you're co-presenter of the daytime series Scam Interceptors. What's your take on this? Because obviously Ava feels like she has been duped, and you know, I suppose you feel like a schmuck, don't you? But at the same time, this is all too common, and you're saying, you know, it's surprisingly common, and people shouldn't necessarily feel that bad about it.
No, absolutely right. And this is a deeply cruel and emotionally manipulative scam. And I want to encourage Ava to try not to feel stupid, and to try not to feel ashamed of what's happened, because it's very easy to say, oh, I could never be caught out like this. But the reality of the situation is that there's a scam out there for all of us. And if you've not been caught yet, it's not because you're too clever. It's just because, essentially, you've just been lucky.
Oh, my goodness. So what sort of techniques does these scammers use?
So romance scammers particularly have a few things. And the first one, in that first 6 months, they'll use something called setup and callback, which is where essentially they'll seed details, for example, the fact that they've got a daughter or they work on an oil rig, which at the time that they say them seem completely innocent.
Yeah.
But then they'll use those further down the line, they'll call back to them as a justification for asking for money. So that then, in the case of his daughter, related to your compassion. And he said, unfortunately, you know, I've got a daughter, something's happened, there's a medical emergency for which I now need money. And that then plays on a second tactic that they use, which is essentially using your human nature against you. We all want to be compassionate, we all want to be good people, particularly with someone you care about, who you've developed a relationship with over the course of months. So of course you're going to want to help them out. And there's a third system they'll use there, which is time pressure. So in saying to you, help me out with my daughter's medical emergency, I'm pretty sure he probably also said something like, I need this money now for reasons X, Y, and Z. That is just turning up the pressure on you to try and make you feel like you've got to do this and you have to act and you have to send the money. And the last thing they'll do is they'll isolate you from sources of support. So they will say to you, please don't talk to other family members about this. And if you do that, they'll then accuse you of sort of sabotaging the relationship somehow, or undermining the trust between the two of you in just having a conversation with somebody else, which the reality is, if someone really loved you, of course, they would not mind you doing that at all.
So what can you do about it?
So my advice, unfortunately, is any unsolicited approach on social media, I think you should view as a scam until proven otherwise. So if you're getting messages out the blue from people who are saying, oh, you know, what they said to you, I like the look of your pictures, etc., please do your due diligence on those people before you start proper interactions with them. And we'll come to how you can do that due diligence, I think.
And what are you looking out for? Is it like, for example, this picture, is there a way you can fact-check who that person is from the picture?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I found out since you can do a reverse, put the name in and ask for a picture
in, can't
or
you?
put the picture in and ask for the name.
I think it's called
reverse image search. Nick, tell us about that.
So that's one very good way you can do it. You can take their profile picture and you can put it into a search engine and essentially search for that picture.
So good.
And if it's a scam, obviously, or if they're using a fake profile, you'll probably find lots of other people using that picture with different names, right? If you do see people with the same name on a different platform, what you could then do is send them a message on another platform and say, I'm talking to you on this social media platform, is this you? And then obviously that'll give you some means by which to verify it.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
brilliant.
you, Nick.
Thank
Ava,
you,
thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you, Ava.
Best
My
of luck with
pleasure.
everything. Thank you.
Thank you.